Me Too, when it comes to Me Too and the position of Dalit-queers, I think I don't have a say because they have to say, but I would add it from the perspective of Dalit women. Because when Me Too came out, people were supporting it and people were writing it in a way that it is a very powerful movement so far in the history that gives women a platform where they can share their stories and narrate their experiences. And when the first list of Raya Sarkar came out, it was called out, as a bogus or anonymous list, which has no credibility at all. And even women who were part of several feminist movements, they supported the harassers who were named in the first list. But when it come to Me Too movement, they all were in solidarity, and there was a singular voice against sexual harassment, and everybody, irrespective of their caste and their movement or wherever they belong to, they were supporting the Me Too movement. But the very problem I had with Me Too movement is those who supported Me Too movement ignored Raya Sarkar's list for the reason that those were anonymous, no names, and it was a list that came out on social media. So we don't have to trust it. But when it came to Me Too, the reactions were exactly opposite. So I would like to ask a list that names the professors of the higher educational institutions of this country being called out is not powerful, then what list would you call very powerful to be? Isn't it? This was the first time ever the sexual harassment complaints from the educational institutions came out. And those where the students were not able to come out, identify themselves, and call out the harassers. They deserve the right to be, right to protect their identity and to conceal their identity. But still, those women who were supporting the harassers and were against the victims or survivors, how whatever you call, they unanimously supported Me Too movement, where the persons who came out, the women who came out to write, were mostly from dominant privileged background. I was abused online for the reason I called out an environmentalist in Tamil Nadu. I was working with him during my college days and he was sexually seducing me. And I know what he was doing. He was purely doing business out of, from the Purambo clans and bringing some bamboos and all. I know it personally. So when the whole Tamil Nadu called him Vankari Matai, I was not able to tolerate it. I had worked with them. Why should I acknowledge some businessman as Vankari Matai? So I wrote a status where I mentioned that I had worked with them. And despite of the reason that I was only 17 or 18, at the time he sexually tried to seduce me. He even told me a message that only owls will have one partner in their life and humans are like dogs. You can also have sex with me. That's what he told to me. And I was only 17 or 18 then. I was very upset. I can't even tell to my family that I faced such a thing in the organization. So my mother would not let me to work in anywhere, not in his organization, but anywhere. So I was very afraid. I didn't tell anybody, but quoting some reasons of studying for examinations or going to courts, I quit his office. I wrote this status, and I was badly abused. And the sort of abuse I received was very casteist in nature. They called out my beef eating habit. They wrote that I don't even deserve to be raped for the reason I'm black and I'm fat. Can you imagine? When the sort of abuse that the dominant caste privileged woman receives is a rape threat, they call out my beef eating habit and they are making a state comment where this woman who is dark in color and fat in appearance and who is not good looking, coming from a Dalit community, eating beef and having some worms in her brain, don't even deserve to be raped. Imagine the difference and the sort of abuse we receive. So when I was abused, I have never had any support from these feminists or those, Me Too heroes. But when they were abused, they expect every one of the women, irrespective of the caste to come out and support them. And then I went to lodge a complaint to the Delhi police official. I was practicing in the Supreme Court then. And the police official told, lot of statuses are in Tamil. We cannot translate, we cannot take any action. You better go to Tamil Nadu. I came to Chennai and tried to lodge a complaint in the Commissioner office, Chennai. They didn't receive my complaint. And then after a huge struggle, I made them receive my complaint. No FIR was lodged, no action was taken, and the police official advised me to keep my reputation by not lodging this complaint. And madam, you're practicing in the Supreme Court. You're coming from a small town in Tamil Nadu. You have gained you have earned a lot of respect and reputation now. Please don't lodge this complaint. But when Chinmayi and Danya Rajendran lodged their complaint, police officials took action within 48 hours and they arrested them. So what sort of legal support we get, or what sort of treatment we get in the this system itself is very different. Whose problem is honor killing? It is a problem of dominant caste women. Their families are not allowing them to get married with the person whom they love. So it is a feminist movement and the upper caste women who should have taken the call and who should have protested against honor killings, right? Whose problem was this sati? Whose problem was shaving heads? Whose problem is this, even women oppression in this patriarchy? It all came from Brahmanical ideology, right? In caste in India, Ambedkar clearly states this sort of treatments to women after the husband dies, that may it be child marriage, may it be sati, may it be insulting women in the name of widow, shaving your head, or not allowing them to elope and get married to the person they love, all for protection of the caste system and this Brahmanical system. So honor killing and this women oppression or the problem of dominant caste women, and it should have been them who are coming now and protesting on the streets. But who are fighting against honor killing? It is again Dalit women and Dalit communities. So when we are suffering and when we are abused badly and when we are criticized and when we are abused for the reason that we are women and coming from such and such social location, and you are not going to raise your voice, why we would come and support your Me Too movement where we have no space at all, where we don't afford to even carry our stories, we don't even afford to narrate our experiences. Our experiences all become bluffings, anonymous, no credibility, nothing to trust. And when you post something anonymously, and we should trust everything and we should come out and give away our lives only to protect your reputation. No, we are not going to give away our lives, energy, resources, or platforms for the dominant caste women who are casteist in nature and oppressing another woman from the social location they come from.